Zach, it's not often that the National Player of the Year decides to come back and play another year in college. What was that process like for you making the decision, and how late did it go? Did it almost end up where you went back to the NBA?
Yeah, it was literally to the deadline. People thought I was kind of like milking it maybe a little bit and wait until the end, but literally I had workouts on the last 2 days before the deadline was. So it wasn't as stressful because I was kind of waiting for a certain person to promise me something, but then I didn't end up getting that, and then the last day was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I got on a call with my mom, got on a call with my agent, and they kind of asked me, they were like, what's gonna make you the happiest next year? Like, looking back on this, what is gonna be like, yeah, that was the right move. Like, yeah, I had a lot of fun that year, and I made the most of that opportunity, and it was a no-brainer that it was Purdue at that point. I get to come back with great teammates, with a university that loves me, and compete for every championship that there is out there. That's something that you don't get very often, and that's something I didn't want to pass up on.
What was that phone call like with Coach Painter when you called him and told him you were coming back?
It was quick.
Was he happy?
Yeah.
I assume.
I just called him. I was like, yeah, Coach, I'm coming back. And he's right on.
That's all he said?
Basically, yeah. He's like,
he's a man of few words. Man of few words.
Yeah.
That's funny. You started playing basketball at such a late age. You know, it's been so well publicized that you played baseball, you played hockey. Why do you think you've been able to pick up basketball so quickly and made these really rapid improvements?
I think a lot of it comes back to like kind of sport background that I have. It's not like I'm new to sports; I'm just new to basketball. I kind of have those stronger legs from hockey. I have good hand-eye coordination from baseball, and kind of when you put those two things with my size in basketball, I think it leads to good success. There's like little niche things like in pitching you use your two fingers, and basketball you use your two fingers. So a lot of like little niche things that kind of helped. But getting that like athletic background is something that really helped translate to basketball.
Well, speaking of that, we got a baseball here, Toronto style for you.
Okay.
Just first of all, for the camera, would you just hold the baseball just to show how small that thing is? As a pitcher, what were your go-to pitches? And maybe just grip it the way that you would for me.
If I was looking for a strike, or just a four-seam.
Okay.
If I was ahead in the count, maybe I'd go for a little two-seam, or I'd go for like a circle change.
I threw the circle change too. It was a great pitch.
I'd circle change, yeah. And then my last year, I got the little curve.
Started throwing the spinner.
Yeah, it was just like a straight 12-6. But yeah, those were my pitches.
How many years did you pitch?
I pitched long. I think I probably pitched longer than I've played basketball.
Really?
Yeah, I think I pitched about 6-7 years.
Okay. So the rumor was that this guy was your favorite baseball player.
He was. That was I think that picture exactly was my screensaver on my laptop for years.
My question is, how was his teammate Randy Johnson not your guy? 6'11" on the mound?
I don't know. I loved his swing. That was it.
It is pure.
His swing was, I think, it's prettiest of all time. And that was really it.
Did you have his video game?
No, I didn't.
What?
I really didn't start playing video games till like midway through high school.
Well, his video game is also one of the best sports video games, I think, of all time. But
I didn't even know he had one.
He's a legend. You didn't know Ken Griffey had a... Oh, yeah.
Not a real
Super
fan.
Nintendo, N64, yes. I have another picture for you. What does this guy mean to you?
It's Phil Kessel. He was kind of the Toronto Maple Leafs a lot when I was growing up. Tough, little, fast dude, forward, liked to fight, liked to get like physical. He was funny. He was my guy.
Boy.
Yeah,
bad
boy in hockey.
If we could ask 13-year-old Zach Edey to go back to that time and say, what do you think will be your best sport? Will it be baseball? Will it be hockey? I guess basketball really wasn't on the table for you then. What would you have said?
Baseball, for sure.
As a pitcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my goal. I actually wanted to be in the 2024 Olympics for baseball. That was my goal as a kid. I ended up I probably might be in the Olympics. I have a chance to get there, but it's not for baseball. And I really wanted to be the tallest pitcher of all time. Eventually, kind of when I started putting on that size in middle school, ended up kind of working out in a backwards way. My shoulder ended up kind of going, but it kind of worked out for me in the long run. That's amazing.
Speaking of your time on the national team, you're coming off a summer where you won a bronze medal at the World Cup with the Canadian national team. What has that experience been like for you, and what's the best thing that you've taken from playing with pros?
I mean, it's just kind of the pace. They play at a lot faster pace. They get up and down. Our team was really athletic, I think, even for the world stage. So kind of playing with those, like the physical, athletic, they're grown men up there.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience for me, kind of the pace and the physicality, and then to come back to Purdue and kind of the game slows down a little bit for you.
Who was a player that maybe you looked up to on that Canadian team?
I mean, there was a lot of guys. Shea, he played for Team Canada.
Gilgeous Alexander.
Yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He played for Team Canada. He's a guy, a lot of coaches were kind of telling me, like, he didn't, his first year kind of on that team, he didn't really play much. He sat on the bench, he watched, and then now it's his team. So he was kind of the guy that a lot of coaches were kind of talking to me about, like, keep your head up, like, keep working. Dwight Powell, Kelly Olynyk, like, the centers at Canada, they helped me a lot. They're everyone's a cool guy on Canada. Like, there's not like big egos or big like anything. Everyone was there, was super honest, super open. I could name the whole list of people.
Yeah, sure.
That really helped me.
What do you think you need to show next year to make that Olympic national team?
I mean, just kind of play the way I play. Like, just get stronger, keep improving how I have. Get stronger, faster, quicker, maybe be able to shoot, just be able to kind of handle the perimeter, be able to help my teammates out, and just kind of stay to who I am.
Last season, you won a Big Ten championship. You won a Big Ten tournament championship. Obviously, the season did not end the way that you guys wanted to in the NCAA tournament against Fairleigh Dickinson. How much has this group discussed that? Has that been a game that's really fueled this team?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of guys on the team that are very just internally motivated, just naturally. We have a lot of guys that just, like, we had freshmen that worked their asses off before, that game even happened, and then that game happened. Now you just have a lot of stuff. You see a lot of stuff out there on the internet. Makes you want to work a little harder, show them that they're wrong. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of guys that just want to get better just to get better. They want to get better to see how good they can get. And I think that's really, really important for just long-term work.
What's the best part of being coached by Matt Painter?
Just his honesty. He's an open book. There's a lot of coaches in the business that they'll tell you one thing and they mean another. They'll tell you one thing because they think it's what you want to hear. Matt Painter will tell you the honest truth. He's not going to lie to you. He's not going to sugarcoat it. If you want to hear the truth, you can go up to his office anytime and he'll tell you exactly where you stand, exactly what you need to work on. And he'll stay exactly true to that. I remember before my freshman year when I was about to commit, I didn't want a red shirt. That was like my one thing. I just wanted to play. Every other kind of school I went to, they were like, yeah, he'll have a chance. Like, we'll give him like this amount of minutes. Like, he'll be this man in a rotation, whatever. Whereas I went to Purdue and Painter said, like honestly, we have no plans for you. Like, if you come into practice and you beat someone out, like, you're gonna play. If you come into practice and someone beats you, you're not gonna play. You're going to redshirt. So that was something I really, really appreciated in my recruiting, and I ended up, things happened. Matt Harm's transfer, but that was something that I really, really kind of took to heart that he said that to me.
I know you have a very good relationship with Brandon Brantley, and he is the coach of the bigs at Purdue and has done a great job developing a ton of guys. What's one thing that Brandon maybe says to you where you just are like, roll my eyes, I've heard this so much. Like, is there anything where you're like, all right, dude, I know? I
think he's compared himself to every great NBA player in the world. I think he was Zach Randolph one day. He was Kevin Durant the next. I think he was Steph Curry in December. Like, he's all over the place. He's hilarious.
That is not a surprise to hear. As for yourself, of guys that you looked up to as a kid from a basketball standpoint, who was your favorite player?
Probably Joel Embiid. I just like his story a lot. He came into basketball late, and now he won MVP last year. Like, he's one of the best players in the world. So that's kind of something I kind of look at. Like, hey, if he did it, like, why can't I do something like that?
Mm-hmm. It's been said many a time that you use anger to motivate yourself. What gets you angered?
It doesn't, like, when I'm really looking for something to get me angry, it doesn't take much. It could be something like a way a dude looks at me. It could be something that the bench says. It could be something that a fan says. It could be literally, sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes just Coach B will say something to me before a game. That'll get me angry. So it's literally just anything I can use.
Growing up, you said that sometimes it was maybe a little bit tough to stand out, but now you like it. When did that maybe change for you?
Kind of when I became comfortable in my own skin, when I kind of grew, when I realized, like I'm going to be tall all my life. I'm going to be the tallest guy in the room probably for the rest of my life. So it's just, you have to learn to adapt it. You have to learn to kind of accept it, and then you have to learn to kind of embrace and love it.
Mm-hmm. You know, how much do you think of the NBA, and what is your goal for the draft? Is it to be a first-round pick? Is it to just get drafted? What are you looking at from a pro perspective for you?
I'm not really looking at the NBA. The only thing I'm really looking at is Purdue and winning basketball games. I think I'll expand my game to kind of maybe some of the things that the NBA are saying, but that's going to help Purdue. The NBA has never been like it's always what I want to do. It's what I want to do in my future, but it's not like I'm going to go into the games looking like, hey, I need to take 4 threes this game so I can get film for the NBA. I'm just going to focus on winning games at Purdue, working hard, helping my teammates, and then when the NBA time comes, hopefully they see that and then they appreciate that. But that's not something I'm really focused on.
With all your success now, do you maybe look back on your childhood and wish you had started playing earlier? Or are you still glad that, you know what, I picked it up when I picked it up, and that's why I'm getting better at such a fast rate?
Yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I said there wasn't some times where I was like, man, if I'd started at 5 years old or 7 years old, maybe things would be different. But I started when I started, and nothing I can change about it. I come from a very unique background. I believe that really helped me in basketball. So you can say, oh, maybe if I started at 10, I'd be way better. But maybe if I started at 10, I'd be way worse. Maybe if I started at 10, I would have, like rolled my ankle really badly or something like that. Like there's so many. You can't play games where it's like, oh, maybe this, maybe that. It happened, and I'm very appreciative of the way it happened. And I think it's worked out pretty well the way it happened, so I can't complain too much.
Yes, I would say. You won all 6 National Player of the Year awards last year. What type of respect do you see that for yourself?
I mean, it's always been a goal. I would be lying if I said it wasn't nice to kind of win those, but at the end of the day, like I said, that's not like personal accolades are nice, but team accolades are way better. Team accolades like kind of last forever. Team accolades get hung in the Mackey rafters. So I think that's kind of what I'm really focused on. People kind of ask me like, oh, do you feel pressure to try and go back to back? That's not my goal next year. My goal isn't to win back-to-back national player of the year. My goal is to win the Big Ten again. My goal is to win the Big Ten tournament again. My goal is to make a really deep run to March Madness. My goal is to make the Final Four, win the national championship. Like those are my goals going into the season. It's not to go back-to-back national player of the year. Although that would be nice.
Yeah, yes it would. There's a lot of noise, I would say, on the exterior from fans that it has to be a Final Four this year. How do you maybe tune that out? Because winning the Big Ten is a huge accomplishment. Winning the Big Ten tournament, that's a single elimination deal against some of the best teams in the country. So how do you maybe keep this group focused on the fact and block out all that sound on the exterior?
I think you just can't let media influence how you look at anything ever. I think there's never been a year where like the team has gone into it. We've had our team meetings every year. You probably had them too. There's never been a year where like someone's like, oh man, if we just make the tournament, it's gonna be a good year. Like every year you go into those meetings, you say we want to win the national championship, we want to go to Final Four, we want to do like everything I just said. Every year you go into when you say that, like it's not like in practice because Painter like last year because we were going to be unranked at the beginning of the year and we were going to be picked to finish 5th. It's not like Painter was like, all right, we're only going to practice for an hour and a half today. We're not going to focus hard. Like the focus is the same, the work's the same, everything's the same. Just now the media's saying the same things that you're always saying versus last year the media wasn't saying the same things, but we had the same exact expectations.